Yes, indeed. Welcome into another episode of Rip N Riff here on the Rip N Riff YouTube channel. That over there is at Mr. Jared Moore. I am at Pucking Thoughts, Adam Bernard. It's first in-season NFL Monday. Still got one game to go in week one, Vikings-Bears a little later, but we're here to talk rip some packs and talk a little football, maybe even a little baseball later on. Jared, how was the weekend?
Weekend was fine. Aside from the Giants no show in DC yesterday, I thought everything with the weekend turned out a-okay.
All right. Yeah. I mean, despite the loss, I was okay with how the Jets played. We're going to get into we'll get into the Jets and Giants and whatever else we feel like as we rip some packs and teams and players come out. We'll talk about them. Also, I've got something to say a little bit later about home run balls, and it's not the angle you're going to expect. And if we have some time today, one of our segments we haven't done in a while, cup chasing. We've got 5 packs left here. Maybe we get that hologram, 1 in 5,000. I doubt it, but they're just collecting dust in the closet, and it's let's face it, these cards. If you don't get the hologram, none of those cards are doing anything for the bank account. So, right. So let's get to some packs. Let's get to the pack ripping lineup. So maybe we do get something that helps out the bank account there. Now, the leadoff pack today will be a 2024 Donruss jumbo pack, or value pack, I should say. 30 cards. I mentioned this one on Twitter. This was a random, surprising impulse buy at Kohl's on, when they, like in a play when they like herd you to the register, we have to walk back and forth, and they have all the stuff lined up on the side. And they had randomly saw cards there, so picked up a few of those. Later on, I got some 97 Topps Baseball Series 2. What do you got there, Jared?
We're going with a classic, but a staple here with the Panini Mosaics, the 2024. We got a couple packs of these. I actually have 3 total, but I might just do 2 of them. We'll see how we're doing on time. And you see the rookies on the screen there. Obviously, all the rookie quarterbacks from last year, along with like Brock Bowers and Malik Neighbors and all those guys. So excited to rip those packs.
Now, tonight, Monday Night Football, you got J.J. McCarthy making his debut against Caleb Williams in both year 2, but technically McCarthy's not a rookie, but he may as well be for, considering he hasn't been on the field yet. But, we'll see how that game goes. But let's talk about things that happened yesterday and look ahead to week 2. First up, we're going to do a little 2024 Donruss football here. Let's get the rip cam up. Overall, just week 1, that was one of the better week 1s that I can remember. Just like with the games feeling like they were it felt more like a week 7 the way the games were going. It did have that sloggy start to the season. It was nice.
I thought the 4 p.m. window was kind of a slog a little bit. Like there weren't really that many games in that window that were all that compelling. I know Packers Lions was the big game, but it wasn't really competitive from the jump.
Yeah,
and I can only muster so much fake interest in like Titans Broncos or 49ers Seahawks, but I thought you had some interesting games in the 1 o'clock window, and then obviously the comeback on Sunday Night Football was tremendous. So,
speaking of the Niners, despite all the injuries they dealt with and everything, the Seahawks should have won that game. Niners still come out of there with the win. Probably one of the better ones of the late window, like you said. Not a ton of appeal there. Rams Texans was a snooze fest as well. Speaking of the Titans in the late window, there's Mr. Mike Vrabel, pictured there, taking in a touchdown. It looks like with a Super Bowl patch there on his shoulder. Looks like the Super Bowl 38 patch when they beat Carolina. Cam Ward made he looked decent in his debut. He already carries himself like a multi-year pro, like a vet. He don't feel like a rookie.
Well, it's good. It's good he carries himself that way. It'd be nice if he looked like a multi-year vet as a player as well. But I mean, it's one start, and it's against a good Broncos defense on the road. So I guess he can't be too critical. The Titans don't really have a lot of talent on offense, anyways. So that kind of is what it is. And you mentioned Mike Vrabel, his coaching re-debut, I guess, a way to put it. Now that he is on a second head coaching job, this time with the Patriots, and Patriots did not look very good yesterday at home against the Las Vegas Raiders.
You know what was nice though? Pete Carroll, like just in his post-game press conference, he's still got the fire, man. Like you could tell, like he's pumped to be doing this. He's excited. He's not collecting a paycheck. He's here to coach football. and that's fun. Look out for the Raiders this year. They could surprise maybe a little bit. Deontay Johnson, don't even know if he's on a practice squad right now, little team. I know the Browns had him and then cut him. See here. Texans, lackluster performance in LA yesterday. What else we got? Zach Thomas with the Dolphins. I mean, whew.
I'm not sure anybody looked worse than the Dolphins yesterday. Between like Tyreek going off on the sidelines on an assistant coach and Tua turning the ball over, and that defense getting carved up by Daniel Jones is not a good look.
That's the thing. Like maybe like Daniel Jones is in the right system and all that stuff, but I mean, it shouldn't be that easy for him either. You know, like it was. They didn't punt the ball once yesterday. They scored on every. They had 7 possessions and they scored on all of them. Touchdown or field goal. That's bad. See Saints here with Cam Jordan. Not much to speak of in Arizona yesterday, or excuse me, with the in New Orleans lost to the Cardinals. Excuse me.
The Saints were about what we expected yesterday. They were bad.
Yeah. And the Cardinals, we'll see what they get. They get the Panthers at home this week, or they go to Carolina. No, I think they get them at home. So we'll see how that goes. Speaking of them, there's an old Roger Worley card there. Levante David, Tampa Bay. I sent this to a buddy yesterday. You can give me Baker Mayfield and 11 of your local Pop Warner's best, and I'll think that they can come down the field on the best defense in the league. Baker Mayfield just has that, like, you're never out of it, never say die attitude.
Yeah, the Cleveland Browns could sure use a quarterback like Baker Mayfield, huh?
Funny, and he embraced Cleveland too. Not many people embrace Cleveland, and he did that, and they still, basically gave him the cold shoulder. Jarius Sneed there, pictured with the Chiefs. These cards are sliding. Keenan Allen, he had a touchdown in his debut, and another re-debut, we'll call it, down in Brazil with the Chargers there.
I'm surprised Keenan Allen's still doing this at his age, but shout out to him.
And he still might be fantasy relevant for with the way the Chargers are. I mean, if Herbert likes throwing to him. Let's see here. We got Zach Martin with the Cowboys. Dallas, they played look good considering the circumstances on Thursday Night Football. The whole Dak Prescott spitting and then Jalen Carter spitting back thing, was not expecting that. But Cowboys, I thought, showed up.
Between the Cowboys looking presentable on Thursday and the Giants not looking good yesterday, I'm having some serious second thoughts on my way. The Giants are definitely better than the Cowboys take.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But again, they get to play this week in week 2 in Dallas. So a little head-to-head matchup never hurt anybody. Denver Broncos, Cortland Sutton there, getting it done against the Titans. Would have liked to have seen a better showing out of them against a rookie quarterback at home. See what happens week 2 for Denver. We got a throwback, Dave Robinson. This one would go in the Mad Dog pile right there, pictured with the Packers. Let's see here. Isaiah Pacheco, Chiefs. No concern after the week 1 loss. I mean, the Chargers are a good team.
I mean, I'd be somewhat concerned, right? Like I thought the Chargers thoroughly outplayed them throughout the game. They basically led the entire way, and the only reason the Chiefs kind of had a chance at the end was because of Mahomes' magic. So the run game still doesn't look good. Pacheco still doesn't look great coming off that injury. I mean, I know it's just one game, but it's very much a concern.
The one thing I will say is, if I recall correctly, last year when the Eagles and Packers played in Brazil, they said the surface was not great. Maybe that factored into a little bit of it for him. But we'll see what happens when he gets home this week. I mean, listen, it's a Super Bowl rematch for your home opener week 2. It doesn't get any easier there. See, Eagles Chiefs, everybody's getting that one. I think that's one of the few times in the year where everybody gets the game. See. We got Jordan Addison here with the Vikings. He won't see the field for about 3 games there while he serves his suspension. We talked about Vikings Bears earlier, but it'll be nice when Minnesota gets him back. Jake Matthews there with the Falcons. They lose to Tampa Bay yesterday, a game they could have at least sent to overtime, but Younghoe Koo, but he doinked it right off the right upright.
Yeah, not what you want to see if you're the Falcons.
I mean, listen, they lose Caleb McGarry. It's going to be it's Tampa's division to lose at this point.
I will say this about the Falcons: Michael Penix looked good.
He did. He absolutely did. But with Tampa getting that road win in Atlanta week 1, now Tampa just needs to go out and win the games they're supposed to win, and they should at least get the division. No problem. But It's a long season. If Baker Mayfield gets hurt, then all things change. Patrick Ricard there at the Ravens. Last night's Ravens-Bills game. I mean, I know it's been said, but like, sign me up for an AFC Championship rematch right now. Those two.
Yeah, it'd be great. I mean, it's a shum. It's a shame that for the Ravens standpoint that you had the Derrick Henry fumble late while they were trying to salt away the lead, basically salt away the clock, and then they had the 3 and out, punting the ball back to the Bills, and you knew the Bills were going to drive down the field and get the field goal, and that was very much a game where whoever had the ball last was going to win, and it certainly played out that way.
And that's honestly, like, that's what we really want in the playoffs. We want that feeling of like, okay, great, like, it just matters who has the ball last. And now, honestly, with the way the kickoff rules are, like, even a late score doesn't necessarily mean as much, because if one thing, the things I noticed yesterday too is teams are having success returning balls well past the 35 and beyond. So that's going to change things late in the game as well. Let's look. We haven't really talked Lions Packers yet. We'll see what happens week 2 for Detroit. They get the Bears at home. Packers short week. They play the Commanders. That should be a good one for the Amazon Prime opener. How about a little throwback here, Mr. Jeff Garcia? That might be the last time. That was like one of the last era of the Browns having a quarterback.
It's interesting they went with the Browns with Jeff Garcia and they didn't go with the 49ers.
Yeah, I mean, he's a Niner for sure. But
right.
Yeah, he was kind of like he had a little bit of a Joe Flacco vibes before Joe Flacco at the end of his career, bouncing around and being that like vet that hangs around and maybe gets some games here and there. Speaking of Browns, there's Jamar Chase with the Bengals. They escape Cleveland with a 17-16 victory. I thought it was cool that Zach Taylor in his post-game press conference, he acknowledged the fact, like, yes, I know it's week 1 and we struggle. Yes, I know it's Cleveland. We struggle at Cleveland, especially week 1 at Cleveland. But all that matters is we got the W, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, maybe that's a little alarming, but I could go both ways there. Is it alarming that Cincinnati barely beat the Browns on the road, or is it not alarming because, okay, this is just, it's borderline tradition at this point?
I mean, he's right that they got the win, but they did not look really very good in the process. Like, Joe Flacco looked pretty good in the loss. And Joe Flacco is as old as I am, and he's out there playing. So it's not what you want if you're the Bengals, I suppose. But I mean, they did get the win, so I mean, credit to them.
If he would have gotten the victory yesterday, I think he should have been nicknamed the Survivor Pool Slayer, because that's what he's basically become for the Cleveland Browns. Last of the base cards here in the pack. Brian Burns, you can't really get mad at the Giants defense yesterday. Keep the Commanders to 21 points. That's that's a good day.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to get mad at the Giants defense for anything, they couldn't stop the run for anything. That, like, they might have a good pass rush. That's if that defensive line cannot stop the run. And it's very much a concern because the Commanders were able to just rip off like all these chunk yardage plays on first down, like, pick up 9 and 10 yard runs and just move the chains and, control the time of possession and all that. And, certainly not what you're looking for as a Giants fan from that defense. The secondary was okay. The linebackers were okay. But, I mean, the story of that game for the Giants was how much their offense struggled.
Now the question is, when do you go to Jackson Dart? Because there's no point. Like, I know you can't necessarily go to him this week, but when you look at the schedule, like, if this happens again against the Cowboys where the offense is just completely lackluster, people are going to say, and Daboll's got to save his job at some point too, doesn't he?
They should make the move sooner than later. And part of the problem with Russell Wilson is Russell Wilson plays like he thinks he's still 25, which is a concern because he doesn't have the mobility anymore to escape and evade defenders and evade the pass rush. And he's trying to move around the pocket because he's, I guess he's looking to take off, or he's trying to buy like that extra second and whatnot. And he just runs right into a linebacker or a defensive end or whatever the case is. And the Giants did an atrocious job yesterday, in terms of, pass protection. Like, there was basically guys from the Commanders in the backfield every play. Like, Dietrich Wise ruined the game. Like, you can't let Dietrich Wise ruin a game. Like, I'm sorry, like he's not Reggie White. Like this can't happen.
Yeah, that's like you said. But when we right before we came on, you're like, "Oh, the Giants' offensive line let him down. What a surprise!" Yeah, and to me now, going back to Jackson Dart, like, okay, when could you possibly go to him? Unless they announce they're doing it this week, it's not going to be at the Cowboys. And then you got the Chiefs and the Chargers coming to your building. Maybe that's not the two best opponents to throw them to the Wolves at. But our buddy Dustin Sweetelson was saying, how about week 5 at the Saints? Jackson Dart's from Louisiana. That's a game that he could potentially win his first start. Maybe that's the time to do it right there.
I think if you're going to do it, just do it now. Like Dallas is a winnable game, and Jackson Dart will at least be able to move around a little bit. And that could be an ugly scene at the Meadowlands for the Giants' home opener against the Chiefs if you have Russell Wilson, barely completing 50% of his passes, not being able to move, and the Giants are 0-2, staring 0-3 in the face. So, like, if I were them, I would just make the move sooner than later. Like, Russell Wilson is what he is at this point. Like, it's fine career, but like he's just a below average NFL starter at this point.
Yeah, I agree. He what he should be is a good backup and mentor to a guy like Dart. That's a perfect spot for him. And if you have to start him due to injury, whatever, it's fine. If you didn't get enough Jeff Garcia here's more Jeff Garcia blue parallel there. Press proof. We got Bailey Zappi there from the old Patriots. We talked about the Dolphins being bad. The Colts, we'll see what happens week 2 when they play an actual defense with the Denver Broncos coming to their building. But I didn't love those Colts uniforms, by the way. Those all blue with the black helmets. They don't do it for me.
You shouldn't love those. Those are bad uniforms. I want to look and see what the spread is of that Broncos and Colts game.
Now, we got a few rated rookies here, but nobody that we're really excited about here. We got Leatu Latu. Sorry if I didn't say that right. We've got Jatavion Sanders here. The Panthers not looking great in their season opener there. Let's see here. We got Jermaine Burton, blue parallel rated rookie. We talked about the Bengals before. Roman Wilson here with the Steelers. And then we closed the pack with the rookies, hologram parallel here. Braylon Allen. Good time as any to talk about the Jets and the Steelers, considering those were the last two that came out. And also because if you look at the cover of the pack, Mr. Aaron Rodgers is still featured as a Jet there. That was probably the game before Ravens Bills. That was the game of the day. And that could end up being a top 10 game of the regular season by the time, even after week 18. It was a good start. Yes, the Jets lost. Yes, there were some decisions that Aaron Glenn could have made better. That last drive, the Justin Fields throw to Garrett Wilson kind of hung him out to dry, so he could get absolutely waylaid by Jalen Ramsey, who popped the ball out, and that was the game. Sometimes making the decision to go for 2, things like that. But overall, the fact that Justin Fields looked like a competent quarterback and was able to do things and move the ball down the field. The Braylon Allen card is on the screen right now, but Breece Hall, man, he looked great. Fields and Wilson look like their chemistry is, rekindling after playing at Ohio State together. Yes, they lost to the Steelers. Yes, they gave up a lot of points, but that I think that was a game where it's just sometimes you could have 2 good defenses on the field and two teams will go up and down the field on one another. And I think that's what we saw yesterday. But there's reason to be optimistic about flashes for the future. I still harbor no playoff hopes for this team this year. To me, a 7-10 season where they're competitive and the culture changes, that's good enough for me. You got Buffalo coming to town this week 2, off of their fantastic come from behind victory. Could they beat the Bills? Sure. Could they maybe cover? Sure, but I'm not expecting victory straight up. I don't see that happening, but I just want a competitive game against Buffalo. I don't want it to be like the way it's been the past few years when the Bills play the Jets. More often than not, the game's over by the third quarter.
I think what is encouraging is the fact that the run game looked as good as it did. And obviously they have built the offense around Justin Fields and his strengths, and the offense looked pretty good as a result. The defense, that did not look good. I don't know how much of that you can really, It's a little tough because it's very much an Aaron Rodgers revenge spot, and he's trying to stick it to the Jets. And obviously, he had some level of success doing that with 4 touchdown passes. So you give him credit there. I'm not sure that I necessarily buy the Aaron Rodgers resurgence, but yeah, I mean, the Jets might be okay-ish. Like I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say I don't think the Jets are good, but like they might be. Not an embarrassment, I guess, for lack of a better term.
I'll enjoy watching them week to week, and it won't be around Halloween where I'm like, all right, maybe I don't go crazy trying to watch the Jets. Maybe if there's, I have the package for under YouTube, so there's always that point in the season for the Jets to me where instead of watching the Jets, I watch whatever the highlight matchup is for that window. Maybe I won't get to that point this year, and that's all I really want is just to be able to have the Jets always be the priority, even unless it's like some Ravens Bills esque match. But even then, I'm watching my Jets. But there we go. That's the leadoff pack there. Some Donruss 2024 football. We're going to keep the football rolling now. Jared's got some 2024 Panini Mosaic. And, we pretty much went through all last week. We could start looking ahead to this week with some of the cards that Jared pulls in week 2 here.
Sure. Yeah, I'm actually looking at the week 2 slate right now as looking at some of these odds, and there's one game in particular that really jumps out at me as an empty the bank account sort of game. But we will start here with an NFL rookie card NFL debut for Caleb Williams there.
And we'll Monday Night Football tonight. We'll see how it goes for Caleb Williams. Got the Vikings coming to town. Vikings 1.5 road favorites.
Yep. Let's see. Kyle Pitts here with the Falcons. Kyle Pitts looked decent yesterday. Let's see. Xavier Woods, safety for your Carolina Panthers. We didn't talk much about that game. Obviously, Carolina and Jacksonville. Not really much to say. There was a long weather delay in the middle of it, and Jacksonville took care of business.
Weather delays are just such momentum killers in football because Eagles Cowboys was, if you were an over better in that game in the first half, you thought you were cruising to an over. Bam, weather delay, and then all momentum gone. Offenses can't do anything anymore. They get out of their rhythm. Yeah, weather delay games usually suck. There's usually not a good weather delay game.
And there were a lot of them this weekend, not just with the NFL, but all college football. Like there was a ton of them on Saturday afternoon in all sorts of areas of the country.
And we're not knocking the delay. We understand if there's lightning in the area and you got guys wearing helmets and they can't be out in an open space. We get that. You have to do the right thing. We're just saying it just absolutely kills the buzz of a game.
Yep. All right. We go next to Mr. Soon to be Mr. Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce.
We talked about that game in Brazil. Now they got the Eagles coming to town, revenge spot after getting embarrassed in the Super Bowl there. I mean, I could absolutely see spending some money on the Chiefs, which that game currently off the board. DraftKings, not seeing it. Oh, no, there it is. The Eagles are a 0.5 favorite. Am I reading that right?
Right. And that was the game I was alluding to. The last time we saw these teams play each other, Philadelphia kicked the crap out of Kansas City in the Super Bowl. And I don't really see what's all that different between the two teams right now.
I mean, other than maybe the revenge factor and playing an Arrowhead, that's all I can make for the Chiefs. That would be my only argument for them, which is not really a great argument.
Let's see. We have a rookie card here. Jalen Polk, who I think is no longer actually with the Patriots. I think it's one of the guys that the new coaching staff moved on from. And last but not least, the Touchdown Masters card with I always like these big head cards here. That's Christian McCaffrey right there.
Niners getting it done next week. They go to the Saints. They were last time I checked, they were 7-point road favorites there. What are they up to now?
Jeez, they're going to be 2-0.
No, down to 6.5. 6.5. It was 7 when it opened. Yeah, I don't normally take road teams in Survivor, and yes, you have the Ravens at home against the Browns next week, which actually kind of scares me just a tiny bit because I think the Browns beat them once last year, and it's Flacco. But yeah, I mean the Niners at the Saints is certainly something you can consider in Survivor for next week.
All right, we got Danielle Hunter here with the Vikings. We'll see what the Vikings look like next week. Let's see. Geno Stone with the Bengals, although he's pictured here with the Ravens.
Yeah, Vikings, tough to talk about what they'll do against the Falcons till after they play tonight, but that's going to be the Sunday night game next week, which Falcons Vikings week 2, that's not doing it for me.
I dropped the Kayvon Thibodeau card. So I don't know if that's an omen for Kayvon Thibodeau, but there you have it. Let's see. Derwin James with the LA Chargers, veteran safety there.
By the way, next week they play the Raiders. It's a Monday night doubleheader next week. Bucks, Texans, and then Chargers, Raiders.
We have a Jamari Thrash rookie card here and a NFL debut rookie card, a parallel here for Jalen Wright with the Dolphins. I got one more pack. We can go through this real quick. Just so
Dolphins, man. I mean, when you look at yes, it's 1 week, but that did not look good. Like you said, Tyreek Hill arguing with the coach on the sidelines. Like the wheels could come off fast in Miami. They could be the Saints of the AFC if they're not careful.
Mike McDaniel will probably be the first coach fired, and they should turn around and just trade Tyreek Hill to the Chiefs already. Like, let's get this over with.
Nowhere else. He's just going to go to KC.
Yeah, one of the best defensive players in the league with Patrick Surtain the second.
We talked about Broncos Colts week 2. Yeah, true yardstick game for both.
We also talked about Bills Jets week 2. We got Matt Milano here with the Bills. Let's see, Raheem Mostert, who last week I thought was retired. It turns out he's not. He's just a healthy scratch for the Raiders.
Yeah, I have him in some deep leagues. It's like a start throw for maybe mid to late in the year.
Brandon Ayuk, who's still recovering from a torn ACL here with the 49ers. Let's see. Kalen Bullock rookie card with the Texans. If you can tell me anything about Kalen Bullock, I'd appreciate it because I've never heard of him. And last but not least, a parallel card here of Bobby Wagner still getting it done with the Washington Commanders.
Commanders on the short week going to Green Bay. That'll be a fun one. I'm trying to think if there's any week 2 matchups that really jump out at me. That one thing I would consider is the Titans they opened up as 5.5 point dogs. They're up to 6. I mean, they looked good a lot of the reason they lost is they shot themselves in the foot. I mean, to go on the road to Denver week 1, only lose by 8. You got a Rams team coming in the building that did not look very strong against the Texans in their opener. I mean, I could see maybe taking the Titans with points there. But other than that, I don't really see nothing else. The 49ers should cover that 6.5, but nothing crazy right now to me.
If I were going to build a parlay for week 2, I think I would do Eagles money line, Bengals money line against the Jags, Patriots money line against the Dolphins.
See, the Patriots getting plus money on the road. That's nice. I mean, if you want the 1.5 cushion, it's minus 105. So for me, if I was going to do a 3-team parlay, I like this idea, by the way. Let's
build a parlay every week. Mine would pay out plus 510.
All right, let me get my parlay builder open here so I can get the exact odds.
I can do it as we go along. I got DraftKings.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, so I would so the Niners to cover 6.5 minus 108. Titans plus 6 minus 112, and then what is going to be my third one next week? I hate to bet against my team, but I think the Bills would probably cover the touchdown, no problem. Is there a total I like here? You know what? Give me the Browns plus 11.5 minus 105. I can see that being like a 27-17 kind of win. But I'm just throwing that out there. What was my total?
And that pays plus 611.
All right. So let's see if either one of them hit, or if we get 2 out of 3 legs. We'll see. That'll be what we do for next week. We'll do that every week here on Rip N Riff. I like that. I get good spot on the good idea on the spot. See how that goes.
Yeah, not a problem. I was inspired yesterday by one of my poker playing buddies at the table last night. Had like some insane 12-leg parlay going for the Bills-Ravens game. And he hit basically every leg of it except for he needed James Cook rushing yards, and he was 10 yards short. but like he literally hit like everything else in it. Like he hit like all the touchdown, the anytime touchdowns, the yardage, his Lamar props, his Josh Allen props. So like we were rooting for him, but he just couldn't get there. Just the way the game flowed at the end with the Bills being down, it was tough to expect James Cook to get like that last dozen or so rushing yards to get over the hump.
That's rough. Yeah, sometimes when the way the game script goes, you're like, yeah, that's not happening. It's a bummer, but you still hold out hope. Now we talked plenty of week 1 and week 2 NFL. Do a little baseball here. It is baseball season. We're in the stretch run. We got teams battling for wild card positioning, divisions, all that stuff. The Giants, one of the hottest teams in baseball here, creeping up on the Padres and the Dodgers in the NL West.
The Yankees didn't embarrass themselves against the Blue Jays. They actually won a series. So how about that? Now they're only 2 games out of the AL East.
I mean, I will say this: September baseball, it's shaping up to be pretty good, and it usually is. But there should be a lot to watch down the stretch here before we get to the playoffs. Now, one of the things that did happen recently was there was that woman in Philadelphia who a home run ball and the kid.
Let's call her Karen.
Let's call her Karen. Listen, I'm not going to be one of these people that piles on and beats a dead horse and rants how it's terrible. But everything's been said. What I will say though, as somebody that is a sports media aficionado, we'll say, some been around in and out of the field, all that stuff. Can we not do the thing that I see already happening where every time a foul ball or a home run ball goes out, now we're going to start to overanalyze. But who caught it? Did he shove the kid out of the way to do it? Did he realize the kid was there quick enough and hand the ball? Like, if we're going to start doing that, then I might be out on baseball the rest of the year, no matter how good the games are. I don't want to be bothered. Like, we got enough divisive stuff in society. We really have to start doing that too.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's one thing if you're I'm not going to name names right now, but you probably know who I'm talking about. That asshat on YouTube who likes to make videos of him going after home run balls and all that sort of stuff. And I know he says like he gives him away or whatever, but like he's an attention whore. So we'll leave it at that. I think it's one thing if you're doing that and like you're boxing people out to get a ball and stuff like that. But like I don't think people should be like shamed into if a ball's hitting your general direction and like you're an adult and like you're looking up at it and like you have a reasonable chance to like catch it without moving like 5 or 10 feet to your left or right. Like if a kid just happens to be right there, I don't think you shouldn't be shamed just to like be naturally go after the ball, even though like you shouldn't wrestle it away from a kid. But there's a weird fine line you're trying to find here.
No,
but,
I get what you're saying. You shouldn't be like boxing a kid out for a ball like you're trying to get a rebound in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. But if you catch a home run ball and there's nobody within 10 feet of you, and you happen to be going back to your seat and you notice there's a kid 4 rows back, like, yeah, should you be obligated to toss them the ball? Like, I get what you're saying there. Yeah. I don't.
I mean, I probably would if I were on a date, but other than that, like,
because there is the other side of it. Like, what if you're like a lifelong diehard baseball fan? You never got a ball. And like, let's face it, that doesn't happen often. I've only been in the vicinity. I got a foul ball off of Ichiro's bat in Yankee Stadium at the old stadium, way down the left field line.
Yeah.
But I mean, literally, I've been to probably 60, 70, 80 baseball games in my life, and that is the only time a ball has ever even come close to me. So
the only time a ball ever came close to me, like I'm at the old Shea Stadium. I'm sitting first base side and David Wright hits like a screaming foul ball like in my general direction. I actually had a glove for this game because we're in an area where you could realistically catch it, and like he hit it right to me, and like I just reach up to just catch it, and it was just out of reach. If I was like 3 inches taller, I'd probably get it. So
now I will say this what we're saying applies to major league games. If you're at a minor league game, toss it to the nearest kid. It's a freaking minor league ball. Right? It's gonna make the kid's night.
It's a $12 baseball. Like what are we doing here?
Yeah. Like most times I'm gonna say give it to the kid, but like if you caught it fair and square, there's nobody around, and like I don't know, like people, like again, like you said, it shouldn't just automatically be like, oh, you have to now look for a kid to toss it to. Like if you touch it fair and square, nobody near you. But yeah, you also shouldn't be, throwing hips and arm checking and hand checking people either. Let's see here. All right, let's get to the cards. This is actually a good looking card, the 97 Topps Series 2 there. We start with a Mark Carrion there with the old Cleveland Ball Club. Let's see here. We got Shane Reynolds with the old Astros. We've got, this is a kind of a dudsy pack so far. We got Chris Gomez here with the old Padres. Bob Wells. Yeah, this is, oh boy, I don't know why I saved this one. Let's see here. We got a little bricking on this. We got Jeff Facero with the Expos there. Carlos Baerga, but pictured with the Mets, but he was a good second baseman for many years with Cleveland.
He was, yeah. And now he's the namesake of a podcast that he doesn't host, which is a little weird. So shout out to Evan Roberts.
We got let's see here. We got Scott Sanders with the Padres. Yeah, this is a Bob Abreu. Oh wait, is this Bobby Abreu? But this is this is a very early Bobby Abreu card. Look at that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, before he was Bobby. Yeah, his formal name is Bob, and yeah, I forgot he. I guess he came up with the Astros before he went to the Phillies and really established himself as a big leaguer.
Now, we have 3 different kinds of prospects and draft picks cards, but I very much doubt you'll recognize any of these names. Do we remember Danny Peoples or Jake Westbrook?
I remember Jake Westbrook. Yeah, he was a Yankee.
Okay. All right. So we're off to a good start. We got, now we have a prospects card. Jeff Abbott, Shane Monahan. I do remember Shane Monahan. No, I'm thinking of Sean Monahan, a hockey player, and then Edgar Velasquez. Don't remember any of those guys.
I vaguely recall Jeff Abbott, but that's about it.
And then finally, Jimmy Anderson, Ron Blazier, and Gerald Witasek Jr. I think I remember Jay Witasek. I don't remember Gerald Witasek, but Ron looking like a used car salesman there.
Are we sure Gerald Witasek and Jay Witasek aren't the same person?
I mean, is Jay short for Gerald? I mean, it's not like a Homer J. Simpson situation here.
Yeah, it's the same player.
It is.
Yeah, it's the same player.
Gerald to Jay. Crazier jumps. So yeah, I do remember Jay Witasek there. Sweet mustache, by the way, in that one.
Gerald Alphonse Jay Witasek. So I guess Jay might be a nickname for him.
Well, otherwise this pack was a that one was a dud there. Sorry about that. Sorry to
you got the dud.
I did get the dud. I'm not denying that I got the yeah, that one definitely looked like Millhouse. So listen, we haven't done this segment in a while, but it's fun. We got to clean out some closet space. Maybe it will actually hit today. That's right. We're hunting the 1990 Proset 1 of 5,000 Stanley Cup hologram card on Rip N Riff. All right. So, speaking of duds, this segment's been mostly a dud, but maybe you can hold out hope. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 packs here of 1990 Proset. Hopefully we pull Stanley Cup hologram. Otherwise,
while you're ripping the first pack, today I learned that Jay Witasek's an MLBPA certified agent.
That's the right, like, if you're going to go post-career, that's a great way to stay involved with the game and still be around and make some money. Players will listen to you because you've been there before. All right, let's see here. Let's get the West Coast Rip Cam up for one more time today. And we got Mario Marois. Yeah, I need a French help there. Let's see. Mo Mantha, leave related to Anthony Mantha. Dean Evison, current NHL head coach with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Glenn Wesley, Hubie McDonald, Brian Bradley, another current NHL head coach, Rod Brindamore. Let's see here. Carrie Wilson, Vladimir Krutov from the famous Russian Five, Billy Siren, doesn't even sound like a real name. Rick Wamsley, Cal Pivanko, who was a good player in his day, Gary Curry, All-Star Steve Duchesne, and a favorite of yours from the mid-90s, Mr. Claude Lemieux.
This is all one pack.
Yeah. A lot of trash.
I don't think I realized there were that many cards in the pack.
You can get a lot of trash in these little whacks.
Oh, well, you certainly are getting a lot of trash in this little wax.
All right. Give me a hologram, even if it's at the Stanley Cup hologram. Give me a hologram. We got Brent Sutter, Dave Barr, Dave Babbage, a lot of Daves, Bob Sweeney, Pat Flatley, Yerky Lume, Gino Cavallini, who I believe had a brother in the NHL, Paul. They were twins, I want to say. Let's see here. Sylvain Turgeon, picture with the Devils. Paul Reinert, another Billy Siren card. Jamie McCown, Lee Norwood, Steve Eiserman. How's your Eiser plan going? Rick Tocchet, that should be fun in Philadelphia, and Scott Arneal. So current NHL assistant coaches and head coaches. 0 for 2.
Yep.
That was a good ripping sound right there.
We've been ripping these packs for so long. Like I'm rooting for you to finally get one, so we could, if nothing else, be done with ripping these packs.
I mean, if I see another box of this, I'll start the segment up again. Let's see. We got Jeff Thornton, Dave Barr, another Dean Everson, Reggie Lemelin, Mark Fitzpatrick, another Brian Bradley, another Gino Cavallini, another Carrie Wilson, Dan Quinn, another Billy Siren. Listen, I'm getting Billy Sirens left and right. So if you want to, if you collect them, let me know. I will send them to you free of charge.
Yeah, you can't have enough Billy Sirens, apparently.
No, you can't. Sean Burr, Gary Roberts, good player with the Flames. Chris Chelios, All-Star card. Steve Duchesne, All-Star card. Another Claude Lemieux. One of those will be in your next care package.
Oh, wonderful. Can't wait. Another guy who's an agent now.
All right. We got Mike Liat, good goalie in his day. Mark Lamb, Mike McPhee, Bob Essenza, Bill Masterton Trophy, who was won by Gord Kluzak that year. Jerky Lume, Brian McClellan, former NHL GM. John Druce, Mikhail Anderson, Tom Fergus, Lucien DeBlois, Zarly Zalapsky, Ally Afraidy, one of the hardest shots of all time, Mike Bullard, and Pierre Turgeon. So down to the last pack here.
Down to the last pack. Hopefully you have the same success I had with the Kevin Garnett mystery slab.
All right, folks, here it is. Last pack. All right. Dale Hunter, NHL tough guy in his day. I still believe he's coaching in juniors because I think that's his passion. Esa Tikkanen, who once passed over me for an autograph at a Rangers open practice at Rye Playland back when they practiced there many moons ago. Let's see here. Peter Svoboda. We got Dave McElwain. We've got a King Clancy trophy to Kevin Lowe. Mike Huff. Brad McCrimmon. Jeff Chikrin. I believe that's the father of Jacob Chikrin. At least there's that. Rick Meager. Dave Poland. Tony McKegney. Good old Tom Barrasso, one of the best American-born goaltenders of all time. Brett Hull, Terry Karkner, Darren Pupa.
All that, and the payoff was Darren Pupa.
Yeah, we have to do that twice in the show. That's no good.
Oh, man.
All right, so I'm just going to... my poll of the day is a real easy one. I'm not even going to overthink this here.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
It's Braylon Allen. The rookies.
Yeah, you could have Braylon Allen. I'm not going to have an issue with that. I guess my nominee would be this nice Bobby Wagner refractor card.
I'd say it's a tie. I'd say it's a draw. They're both pretty good. Nothing that's going to put anything in the bank account. But I mean, the Braylon Allen one, at least that'll stay in my Jets collection. So that's at least top loader worthy. Nothing else.
Yep. There you go.
There you go. All right. So there's the polls of the day. Getting close. Don't forget, you can reach out to us, RipNRiff@gmail.com. Also at RipNRiff on X and YouTube. Jared's got all of his Devils coverage over at allaboutthejersey.com yet. Have we kicked into season preview mode yet, or is it still a tad too early?
It's still a tad too early. Although this week I'm going to write about just goals for the season.
Well, one of the news things that came out of the NHL is next year, this won't be too early to do preview with the season now starting in late September. So the NHL shifting its calendar up a little bit next year, and with the intention of the Stanley Cup being awarded by mid-June, not like 2 days before the draft and 4 days before free agency, like it's been the last couple of years.
That's fine with me because I kind of wish an NHL training camp was opening up this week, and I think the closest you're going to get is like any of those like rookie challenges, and even then, that's probably going to be next week. Would be my guess is when you'll start seeing those. So, yeah, we got a lot of time here until the season starts up.
And listen, we'll be a football heavy show here during football season. Once hockey ramps up, we give it equal love, if not more love there. So yeah, look forward to that. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the schedule moving up next year. Also, you get your hockey coverage, Total Hockey Now at Total Hockey Now. We've been doing basically analyzing a future each week and doing a mock draft. Or this week we've been lately tier ranking the top 25 players by Yahoo ADP at their respective position. This week we'll be doing left wings and we do another mock draft. And of course, Jared Moore's Poker Shorts at Jared Moore Poker. More research being done this upcoming weekend for an content gathering.
Yeah, there was a lot of interesting stuff from this weekend that I'll be able to use in future videos. So stay tuned.
That's what we love to hear. But that'll do it for this edition of Rip N Riff. For at Mr. Jared Moore, I am at fucking Guts Adam Bernard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Very much appreciate you watching, ripping some packs along with us, talking a little week 1 NFL and looking ahead to week 2. We'll do the same thing next week with week 2 and week 3. Thanks, everybody.